Go. Hi guys, welcome to our 3005 final project. So we built this using Python Fast API, and for our ORM we use SQL Alchemy, and for our database we use PostgreSQL. So Shang is going to walk you through our AR diagram, and Isu is going to walk you through some other things. So I'll pass it up to Shang.
Okay, so thank you, Sui. To start with, we have trainer, which defines many trainer availabilities, instructs many personal training sessions, and conducts many group classes. Member books many personal training sessions, has many fitness goals, logs many health metrics, and registers for many class registrations. Now, moving on to admin. Admin creates many maintenance records, admin manages many rooms, and admin creates many group classes. Group classes registered or has many enrollments. Rooms contains many equipment, and equipment requires many maintenance records. Another thing to note is that equipment cannot exist on its own without room, as you can see here with the forward key. And additionally, all emails are unique. So as in no email can be duplicated. Okay, moving on, I'm giving it back to Sui.
Okay, let me share my screen to show us the relational mapping. Share screen, share screen two. Okay. So I'm going to be talking about how the AR model is mapped to the relational mapping. So to convert our AR model into the actual database, as I said before, we used our ORM is SQL Alchemy. So this handles the relational mapping through Python classes. So one thing I have to get over before I continue is something called base. So I'm going to go to config.py and sorry, I mean database.py. And as you can see here, base is basically to show that oh yeah, that it's basically instruction manual that tell like other models or tables how they should build themselves. And the function to create all the tables is def create tables, and it creates all the tables in the database. And as you can see here, when I go to let me go to model to member.api, you can see that member is declared as base, and the table name, and it's basically be referred to this table name called member in the database in pdadmin, and it will have these attributes and these relationships. So I'm also going to talk about the database definitions, and I'll go to database.py, and these are our environment variables. So it's basic so I'm going to go to config.py, and it's basically configure our database and maintains the database connections. And as you can see here with the class settings, it builds the database and it maintains the connection. And yeah, I think that's all. So I'm going to shift it to Shang for our admin features. Let me
Okay,
stop
thank
sharing
you,
my
Sui.
screen.
I will start sharing my screen. We'll start with the demonstration. So as you can see, I've already created my own admin. So as you can see, I logged in. This is my admin I've created. Now let's create another admin to show a conflicting case, right? So let's create a conflicting case where, like, let's say I have the same email. So I'll do tester and then shang at carlton.com or .ca, I think. Or yeah, whatever. Manager. Let's register. Email already in use because I'm already using this. So let's log in then. Log in. Rooms. Let's create a room. Room 2. As you can see, we already have a room here with like 50 capacity and location random as well. Create room. Okay, all is good. Equipment. Let's make another equipment. Let's call it room ID. Let's do room 2. Let's do like treadmill, right? And then let's say it's in repair. So it works, correct? Now let's try to do something with like a non-existing room ID. So we have one, two, let's do three. Let's do like random test, and then let's say working. Network error as you need a room to run equipment. Now let's create a class. So to create a class, you need a trainer. So as you can see, I already set up a trainer with this availability. Let's do trainer ID 1, room ID 1, class name, class, or let's do room ID 2, and let's do class name, class random. All right, capacity, let's do random, or let's do four capacity, right? Let's do that date like at 7:33, I believe it was. 7:33 to 8, let's say 8 o'clock. Create class. Perfect. Now let's try to show a conflicting class. Let's do class C2. Let's do trainer ID 1, room ID 2, capacity 4. Let's do it like at the same time as before. But let's do it 7:51, or let's do it 7:46 to 7:51. Right. Room is already booked for this time. So as you can see, errors and everything work. I'll show you the backend logic of our code. So as you can see here, 200 means okay, means it went through to the server, everything is fine. As you can see here, there's a lot of 200 okays. 400 means bad request, meaning something didn't work, like we overbooked a room. And I believe up here it should show a few more through like 500 internal server error. So it's pretty much saying like you used a duplicate email, you didn't like book a room correctly, and this is duplicate email. The 500 is you tried making an equipment without a room ID, and that's pretty much everything for there. Now, showing the code itself, I'll only show admin staff here. So showing admin staff, pretty much everything Sui explained, all the table, all the attributes, all the relations. Showing the repository, this is like pretty much all the functions, like the get by admin ID, get admin, like all that update, delete. And then showing the schema, which is the admin schema over here, which is just showing how like it's laid out and everything. And then going up here, we go to I believe it was routers, which is like pretty much how the admin connects to like the front end server and like the server itself, and with like all the Python backend logic. Okay, now that I'm done this, I'm passing it back to Sui, I believe.
Yeah, it's me. So I'm going to, since Shank already explained basically the user flow, I'm just going to test my the member roles. So we're going to create a new member. So new member, let me just add, let's just copy like, I just say spider and email spider@gmail.com. It's of birth, mail, then register. As you can see here, registered, and we can see the effect in our database with the API routes, with get routes, which gives the success of OK. And right now we're going to be showing the health metric. So I'm going to put a weight of maybe like three. That's not realistic, but I'll just put 5. Then I'll just put heart rate of 3 and body fat of 0.2. And as you can see, it gave us an HTTP code of OK. That means that it was saved to it was saved to the database, and the repository basically confirms it. And for the fitness goals, I'm just going to do weight loss and give a target date of 7th, current value 50, target value 100. When I create a goal, as you can see, it's saved to it's or successful, and it's saved to the database. And let's say if I want to inside class ID to register, I already created a class with an ID of 1. And when I register for a class, it's saved, and you can see in our terminal, it's got an HTTP code of OK, and it was and the repository conf and this data and this repository confirms it. I'm now going to show an edge case of this of a member. So like, let's say for example you try to log in with maybe like 5 because it has not been registered. It gives, oh, member ID not found. Please create one first or use an existing ID. And as you can see, it's sent back to us an HTTP code of 404 not found, because obviously a member with an ID of 5 was not hasn't yet been created, so it doesn't make sense. So now I'm going to pass it to Izu to explain the trainer rules. Okay, let me stop sharing. All right, Izu.
Alright guys, I'm just going to go over the trainer functionality and just everything you need to know about trainer. So on my screen here, I have a trainer already that I've already made. So you can see the ID of this trainer is to name, the email, the specialization, and the phone number. So I'm just going to start off by showing you an edge case. So let's say um you try to log in with a trainer ID that didn't exist, for example, six, yeah, you'd get an error because six is not found. And for example, too, if you try to, because I just showed you a trainer that had this email, if you try to log in with this, unless it's the specialization, is it's optional, so you don't need to put that. Let's say you try to register with this, you can see the trainer email already exists. And if you're looking at the left of my screen, you could see in my terminal, I'm getting 400 bad requests, which shows that the server is not accepting what you're doing. So let's just go ahead and make a new trainer. So just going to start up Chris Bumstead. Just do Chris Bumstead. That's Carlton. So yeah, just put in any random phone number. 6, 7. Yeah, let's see, he's a bodybuilding trainer. And that's his specialization. So you will register. You could see it's been successfully created. And if you're looking in my terminal here, you can also see I got a 200 OK request. Sorry, response, which shows that server has accepted what we sent. So yeah, so for availability, that's the second part of trainer. So basically, we could set the availability for when the trainer is available, basically. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to say, oh, my trainer is available from today at 7:57 p.m. till 10 p.m. Yeah, let's just do that till 10 p.m. Yeah, 00. See, I'm just going to go ahead and add his availability. So yeah, you can see I got another 200 OK request, and this shows that our trainer availability works properly. So we're just going to move ahead to the second part of our code. I'm just going to talk to you guys about our code structure. So our entire code is basically divided into four important folders. So I'm going to start with the routers folder, sorry. So yeah, so the routers folder basically it contains all the API endpoints. This folder contains like separate router files for each major user role, which is admin, member, and trainer. Then we move on to modules. So modules is up here. So modules, these are the SQL Alchemy ORM modules. These Python classes, they represent our database tables, member, trainer room, equipment, health metric, and so on. And each table defines the table name, the columns, and the relationships. Then move on to schemas. So schemas here, this is the Pydantic validation. The folder contains our request and response schemas. So the schemas make sure that wherever data enters the system, we've all showed you that through our the responses we got in our terminal. If something is not accepted, you can see. If something is, you can also see that. So we move on to the services, and services is basically the business logic layer of our entire program. So you put reusable data operations here, so you can create a member, update a member, remove a member, you can resolve a maintenance issue, things like that. And we have the database.py connection, which is up here. So this is basically the it initializes the Postgres SQL connection through the SQL Alchemy, and then it sets up the session maker. So and then we also at the end of the day we also have main.py, which is obviously the main application entry points. This is where we create the fast API and yeah, all that. So this is basically the entire structure of our program schema router service pattern. It keeps our code reusable, easy to understand and easy to maintain. So if someone wanted to add more features later. So yeah, thank you so much. So that's basically the entire code structure. So I'll be passing it on to Sui to conclude and finish up. So let me stop sharing. Okay, I'm just yeah.
Sweet. You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, Sui, you're on mute. So they can hear you.
Oh, yeah, as I was saying, um, so we didn't really show the database and how it interacts with database and the output. So as you can see in our page admin, in our PostgreSQL. So as you can see, the class registration I made, it was actually it's seen in the database. And if I go to like member, um, view data or rows, as you can see, all the members I created they were saved to the database. That shows our code works full stack. Yeah. So this concludes our system demonstration. And yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye. And let me stop screen sharing, stop recording.